Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the utter state of the DCEU. It looks like the Snyderverse is like dead.
Well, I thought we already knew that.
Yeah, but now it's like really dead.
Okay.
Like it's really dead. Yeah, so we're going to talk about people that are angry that the Snyderverse is apparently gone. They seem to think that somehow it's going to be resuscitated. But I don't think so. They just canceled Black Adam 2, and Black Adam was supposed to be a soft reboot of the Snyderverse. And yeah, it's not going to happen. The word on the street is Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot got cut from the Flash movie.
Yeah.
That they're still moving forward with for some reason.
Yeah, whatever reason, everything's cut with that. Which is, well, Zachary Levi said he's still in Shazam.
Yeah, so I think it's, as I understand it right now, if they're already working on or have already filmed the movie, chances are they're going to see it through to completion unless it's Batgirl.
Or unless it's the cameos of, Wonder Woman or Superman. Then we have to take those out.
Well, probably. Because my understanding is that they're going to basically reset the DCEU with the Flash movie, and if they take or put them in, it might confuse audiences, and this way they can just do something, be like, yep, we're just going to reset it all, and it's all new, different, Superman, Wonder Woman. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about DC Studios confirming plans for new movies and TV to synergize with the comics.
Now, my worry is, are we talking about the good comics, or are we talking about the comics of late?
Okay, so Marvel did this too. Marvel Studios did this too, where they made the colossal mistake of synergizing the brand and pulling from the 2015 to 2017 era of Marvel, which was abysmal. But that's where we're at with Phase 4. They're basically pulling more recent stories.
Why it's not doing that great.
Yeah, so if they go with what they're publishing now, they're completely screwed. Nobody wants an I Am Not Starfire movie.
No.
But I'm hoping that they're going to try to bring the characters in line. Now, they said before that they actually had a character Bible that was being worked on. My understanding is that a couple of months ago, they were being asked to create character Bibles. And I think they're basically like, okay, just to make sure we're all on the same page here, whatever happens with DC, Superman is Superman, Batman is Batman. And I have to wonder, part of the reason they weren't doing this, beyond speculation they were going to job out the comics, was to make sure that whoever took over got the characters right, that we had some consistency, because God knows that the comic books, there's no consistency whatsoever.
No, and I think that's one of the problems we ran into with Marvel, was people were watching the movies and then they go, I want to read a comic, and then who the hell is this person,
Yeah, then we're going to talk about James Gunn, people doubting whether or not he can actually turn it around to DC. I have no idea. I mean, let's be honest here. I do like some of his movies, but as people have pointed out, The Suicide Squad, he was given a shot at doing a DC movie and it lost them a bunch of money. It didn't make a lot of money, but I think it paid for the previous DC movies being meh, because I liked it quite a bit. It took me a long time to get around to watching it, but once I saw it, I actually liked it. And then they did, Peacemaker as a spinoff, and that was pretty popular. But I don't know if James Gunn's sensibilities are going to be a good fit.
He tends to go for humor, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think his sensibilities are going to be a good fit for Superman. You can get away with it with jokey characters, obviously, but Superman, Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, we don't need that. So then we're going to talk about the logo here, which again seems to support that they're going with the classic iterations of the characters. And some people are mad because they're like, wait, these are the classic versions of the characters, right? Because even Aquaman's not the Jason Momoa version; these are all the comics versions. But of course, we got people being like, where's Cyborg? He's missing from this.
Well, he's been missing for a while. You can blame that on
Walter Hamada.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So we'll talk about this. I don't know. I think this is going to be a mixed bag. I'm kind of quasi hopeful that they might at least start moving in the right direction, but I'm also like, no, it's current year. They're going to F it up.
I don't think I've seen enough to really honestly have an opinion one way or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I get the concerns. I seriously get the concerns, especially about the jokey tone and everything else. But I haven't seen enough yet, other than the fact that they made a big mistake about Henry Cavill, to determine that, this is going to suck or this isn't,
Yeah, we haven't seen anything. All we're seeing currently are a bunch of things getting canceled. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further.
Too late.
We're way far into it. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Make sure you're still subscribed YouTube. For a while there, it seemed like they were actually taking subs away. Now it seems like everything's normalizing. We had a couple of days there where I'm like, what is going on? What is going on here?
Yeah, we literally went over the next mark at 3 times, and they kept taking stuff away and putting it back on, taking it away.
Yeah, and then our videos weren't showing up on the homepage on YouTube, and I thought that was weird. And so there's something going on. Like a week or so ago, probably pissed somebody off from one of the videos we did.
I think the list of who we haven't pissed off is shorter.
But eventually what happens is YouTube does catch on, and they're like, yeah, you know what? Nah, you're lying. And we've been down this road many times before. It's a setback for a day or two, but
must be doing something right.
We're doing something right, yeah, right? Pissing off the right people. So please subscribe. Check to make sure you're still subscribed. Inverse yesterday reported on this. Black Adam 2 is out of the new DCEU or DCU, but not Dwayne Johnson. They said that he might be back in another role. Maybe he could play Darkseid or Zod or
I don't know.
One of the Wonder Twins. Both of the Wonder Twins. But so it was a pretty cordial breakup, but they were hoping for this one to be the spark that reignited the Snyderverse, and they were hoping that this was going to lead it to bigger, better things. And they can just continue as is, because it would be easier to just continue as is than to just burn it all down and start over again. But I think it's pretty much done. I mean, I think the Snyderverse is done. I think they want to reboot everything. And if this movie had made $1 billion at the box office, things would be different, but it didn't. It was kind of scrubbed out. People said it was actually pretty okay, but not great.
But I think that's what's going on is people just aren't going to theaters.
Yeah.
We see it now with Avatar: Way of Water too. I mean, it's doing okay, but a lot of people aren't going out to the theaters. I think they're just waiting for it to come to streaming services, or they can, they're just waiting to like SVOD it or whatever.
Yeah, so he's talking like they might do Black Adam in future multiverse chapters. It's like, it's way too soon to start talking multiverse. In fact, that's one of the biggest problems I think I have with DC versus Marvel. Well, because now Marvel's going down the multiverse route, but it was like that you had so many different timelines going on in DC, and I think it confuses audiences too. As the Flash.
That's why they're going to try to take everything and align it.
Yeah, which, I mean, it makes sense, but people probably
we've been complaining about that for Marvel, actually, so.
Yeah. So, Black Adam 2 canceled. Now, this is interesting. DC confirms plans for new movies and TV to synergize with the comics. DC is going to tie in with the comics. Speaking on the social media platform Mastodon, because we can't use Twitter, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn responded to a fan who shared their hopes to see better coordination with DC Publishing. He said, I'm excited to see the plans that you and Peter have come up with for the DCU going forward. I know this isn't in your power, but I hope that we'll see better coordination with DC Publishing to have series and reprints featuring characters that DC Studios will bring to the public. He's working on this with his friend Jim Lee. Lee is the current CCO of DC Comics, and it seems the two are already considering ways to create a better sense of synergy between the publishing side of DC and the projects that will come from the new studios.
Which I think that's good. We've complained about that many times with Marvel, is that the comics were so far removed. I mean, they're basing the movies and the characters on old comics. So, I mean, they're still there. You can still find those. But like the new comics, people be like, I just watched this Captain, America movie, and I'm going to go read the book. And then you get the book, and it was like, who the hell is this?
Yeah, that was
Iron Man. Who's Ironheart?
That was one of the biggest complaints people had. And again, when we talk about, are they going to go with current year DC, or are they going to,
You said it sounds like they're trying to go more retro.
It does. The logo is retro. That's the old version of Aquaman.
I think if they do that,
Hal Jordan.
I think if they do that, it'll go better for them.
Just keep your core, 6-8 characters, and you can change it up every once in a while. But the biggest mistake Marvel made was they swapped everybody out as the MCU was at its peak, and so people would go to the comic shop and be like, yeah, I want to read Avengers comics, and like you said, like, who is this?
Well, it's because that was their when they were going through, everybody has to be made a woman.
Yes, yeah. Everybody has to be made a woman, or
because that's what diversity meant for years. Women are lesbians.
Yeah, new LGBTQ teenage replacement or whatever, and that's what happened. And they pretty much switched everybody out in Marvel all at once, and you can get away with it once in a while. They've been doing that for years. I mean, they've been doing that for years.
So DC as of late with their books.
Yeah,
and they aren't selling.
And they're not selling. Guys, if you want the movies to do well, what did Gangbusters, The Batman? Guess what? It was a movie about Batman. It was Bruce Wayne being Batman.
Right.
And it did very, very well. So just...
It's like if you give people what they want, they'll actually go see it.
Yeah, give him a Superman movie where he's not killing people. You know, and helping smash buildings and shit.
It's just common sense.
Superman being Superman. You know, you got Wonder Woman right, but then the sequel sucked.
It's like, what if we do Superman, but it's not actually Superman? It's my fanfic for another character that I'm not allowed to get greenlit, but let's throw Superman in there and call it a Superman film.
Now,
Why didn't it do well?
I think the reason that they asked this question, they asked it on Mastodon, is where a lot of comic book people are going. I think they asked it on Mastodon because they're like, hey, we're not going to get rid of DC Comics, are we? I'm still thinking that they might just outsource the comics. Because, I mean, they're still cutting debt over at Warner's and they're chopping shows and they're freaking taking Westworld, which was one of HBO's biggest shows, and they're bundling it up for essentially syndication and dumping it on other streaming platforms. Do you really think the comic books mean that much to them? I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So this one, Warner Brothers Insider reportedly doubts James Gunn can manage the studios.
Twitter just doubts it too.
They do. Fire James Gunn was trending yesterday. Now, of course, you're going to have people that are, salty that the Snyderverse is getting rebooted. And look, I would have loved for them to keep Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot at least, maybe Jason Momoa, but I don't know. I really, truly don't know what I think about this.
I don't think it's going to go well.
I don't think it's going to go well. They're saying that they don't think he can handle it. A report in the New York Post cites one Warner Brothers insider as suggesting Gunn doesn't have what it takes to lead DC's rebuild. According to the source, Gunn lacks experience and doesn't compare to Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige because of it. Gunn has never run anything. I didn't think he's ever run anything.
No, I mean, I'm not sure he might have, but not that I could think of.
I wonder if big filmmakers will work for another director with zero experience guiding movies through a huge grinder of a system. He's not Kevin Feige, but Kevin Feige kind of
But Kevin Feige wasn't Kevin Feige. You know what I mean? He was, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just kind of got, did he have a lot of stuff before that he was doing?
Not really, no.
So I'm like, you have to start somewhere, I guess, but.
I mean, it seems like Gunn is more on the creative end of it, and then Peter Safran actually is probably more on the business side of it, which is why they have two of them. But again, you look at what they produced, and most of it has been very jokey. And it works for Guardians of the Galaxy. It works for the Suicide Squad. I can't see it working for Superman. Superman's a little more serious. So the most talked about decision so far was canceling Henry Cavill's Superman return and Black Adam 2.
They had him announce it. That's what, I mean, how shitty.
Yeah. So he's making all kinds of crazy decisions right now. I don't think he knows what's going on. I think they're trying to figure it out. I think that Zaslav is changing things weekly, depending on what the numbers look like.
It does seem like that. It seems like he is he's more reactionary than he is he needs to sit back and just wait. And I don't think he is. I think he's too busy well, you get a cut and you get a cut and you get a cut. Oh, that dipped a tiny bit. It gets cut too, Yeah. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
This isn't exactly a flattering article. DC was actually right to fire Henry Cavill. Well, maybe he's escaping the dumpster fire that the new DCU is going to wind up being. I don't know. I really have no opinion on this. I think James Gunn could make a couple of really good standalone DC movies, but I honestly cannot see him in charge of the whole damn thing. And especially with the tone of his movies and his sense of humor. And, I do think that I would like to see a lighter version of the DCU. I'd like to see something closer to 80s comics.
Maybe because he's more like the overseer. He's going to, allow other people to write or direct or show run or whatever. And so, you're going to get more of their view of the character than necessarily his view of the character. I'm hoping. Yeah,
I mean, I would like to see a Superman movie more in line with, the 70s Superman Christopher Reeve movie. I don't know. I don't want Superman to be trailer trash and, have a mullet and.
You mean in a van down by the river?
In a van down by the river.
With a pet, what was it, cactus or plant or something?
I don't. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.